Hello and welcome back to 40,000 Layers. Just realized that my camera's super blurry.
Oh, I was
Um,
gonna say it's a stealth drone. You can barely see
Stealth
it.
drone. I bet they have something like that because I was told that the drones and the tower equipment are pretty scary.
Oh yeah, we'll have a little chat about them later.
But you're gonna tell me about the paths.
Yes. So we talked about the ethereals and the possibility that they're actually demon worshippers trying
Yes.
to spawn a demon god,
Uh-huh.
a chaos god.
No big deal.
Um, let's talk about the casts, the other casts. So we have the fire, earth, air, water. Something avatar. Um,
The four nations lived in harmony.
or we could go the other direction and say heart.
The heart.
Yeah, Captain Planet.
Nope.
Really? You don't?
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero.
Makes me think of Captain Scarlet. Indestructible Captain Scarlet. Do 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 do.
He's a hero. Um. So, Captain Planet was like Superman, but like environmental Superman, and he had five kids could summon him. They each had got a ring. And when they combined all of the rings together, it made Captain Planet,
This is
and
way
it
cooler
was
than.
yeah, it was fire, earth, water, air, and heart.
Okay.
And heart was super lame, um, as I
What does
remember.
it do? Pump the blood around the body? Like that's
Yeah,
necessary.
heart was like Aquaman in yeah, no one wants to be heart. Uh, so pick a cast, any cast aside from heart. Heart sucks.
Earth.
Earth. Ooh. So the Tau Earth cast is kind of like workers everything from basic labor and farming and construction to machine building, uh, like full on construction. You know, making buildings and ships and weapons and everything. So they essentially, it sounds really uninspiring, but they were also like scientists and artists and etc. Um,
Okay.
or maybe not artists, but you know, like crafters, let's say.
Okay.
Um, all of the machinery uh, and technology was developed and crafted by the Earthcast.
Very necessary. Super helpful. They're the best.
Yes. So they tend to be I don't want to say a bit more dwarfy because that will give you the wrong impression. They're shorter and wider than the regular Tau like template, let's say.
Right. Okay.
They tend to be quite pragmatic. You know, the best way to describe them is they probably come from Surrey.
I mean, pragmatic would have been fine. Very practical, get things done. Like,
All right, my lover,
oh my god,
I'm
that's
from the Tau. Do you need me to fix up that battle suit?
what work shit.
What do you mean our Jenny's been sleeping with Josh? And then anyone outside of the UK will have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but everyone inside the UK who's over a certain age will probably be like, "Oh, the Archers, cool."
Oh my god, my mum used to listen to the actors in the car all the time.
Oh yeah. Used to be like, "Oh, you want dinner? Sorry, Archers is coming on. You're gonna have to wait 15 minutes." It's like,
We didn't have a radio, so she would go sit in the car to listen to it.
Oh God, really?
Maybe she just wanted to be away from us for a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, that was
So
an aside, wasn't it? Holy crap. Earth. Very pragmatic
Earth.
people.
The before the Imperials came, each of the like separate tribes of the Tau kind of were made up of the castes that we have today.
Okay.
So you could kind of see it as like factions or races or something, maybe, but
Not really. Yeah. Okay.
I believe that the city that was under siege was an Earth caste city, and they were being attacked by the planes guys who are now the fire caste. So
Typical bloody Fire Nation.
I know, seriously, they're so aggressive. But essentially, they're kind of dwarves. Yeah.
Okay. They're kind of dwarves.
They did. I mean, they built the all of the battle suits and robots and things that you'll see. They did all of that kind of stuff, like all the technology and things. I think it would be hard to say whether any of like the only cast that's really, as far as I know, the only cast that's really treated as special is probably the Ethereals.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the Fire cast, because I think they make up the super badass bodyguards of the Ethereals when they need to.
Favoritism.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know for sure. I haven't gone that deep yet. So that's the Earth cost. There's not a super load more to go into, I don't think, on the Earth cost.
Okay.
I could include some. I could include some like pictures, but I don't want to make your job more difficult. So, we may talk about Ovessa a little bit later. Ovessa is a Earth cost.
Okay. Well, we'll see how much time we have. What about the water cost? I keep having to say cost like I'm Southern. If you've noticed.
Well, you can say cast.
Cast. Feels like it's not a real word anymore. How do I do words anymore?
The air cats, of course.
Cats.
So the
Thundercats.
water.
No.
So the water cost
Sorry.
are merchants and diplomats,
Okay.
administrators, pencil pushers.
Okay.
Kind of like if the Earth cast was like, maybe, oh God, maybe perception, maybe agility, maybe strength, because they got the digging and all the hard labor to do. The water cast would be charisma, or
charisma
or fellowship.
Okay, deal with fellowship.
Well, I mean, in 40k, it's fellowship. In D&D or something like that, it would be charisma. So.
Oh, my brain just shorted because I was thinking, what would I roll for those things? But yeah, it would be fellowship. Yeah. Sometimes reputation, wasn't
it? Yeah. So they are responsible for keeping communication between the castes going. So if the Ethereals want to send an order or a message to some Earthcast doing some construction or something, then the Watercast would be the ones to make sure it happens.
Right.
They're also important to bring other alien species into the Tau Empire
Ooh.
because of that thing called the Greater Good.
The greater good. Ball sucks.
Good traders. They get good deals. They they're quite good at like going and you know what, like it's hard to completely avoid this. You know what, like the Spanish empires and British empires and all the empires that went off colonizing, you know how they'd kind of go to a nation, to a peoples in an area.
Mm-hmm.
They'd basically convert one of the princes in the area
Yeah.
and then start them like fighting each other and then eventually take over.
So
It's a
they
little bit like that.
they make wars happen so they can benefit.
They make like hostiles friends and convince them to be hostiles to others, and then yeah, like that type of thing. Yeah. Very manipulative.
Okay.
They tend to be a lot taller and slimmer than regular Tau, so they're probably the opposite of the Earthcast, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and they're a lot more expressive than the Earthcast. From what I know, all of the other casts are like, oh, the Earthcasts never smile, and they do. It's just they're not very expressive with their emotions and
Okay.
like features, whereas
Very
the
sensible.
yeah, and I guess for a diplomat, it's quite important to be expressive because then when you're lying to someone, they can look at you and say, "Oh, he's probably not lying. He looks so friendly."
Yeah.
They're also quite good at mimicry. Not like voice mimicry, but essentially they will mirror and pick up very quickly uh, cultures and mannerisms and all that type of thing.
Yeah, all aligns with their manipulation, doesn't it?
Yeah, so if a watercast Tau was to land in the UK, they'd immediately figure out that they need to go and stand in the nearest queue and apologize if anyone bumps into them.
Damn it, that's how they get us.
Yeah, there you go.
Telling everyone the secrets.
Like, obviously, as a diplomat cast, as a kind of representative social negotiator cast, they kind of like that all helps with communication.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does feel a little bit manipulative. So it's like you understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, you're like,
But you wouldn't
So-
actually be friends with Watercast.
you'd have to continually question it. Like if you're in the know,
Yeah.
or you just feel like they were your best friends and they were super nice and they were so similar to you.
Liars. That's what they is.
Yeah. I would say, interestingly enough, they keep the Tau Empire efficient and fluid.
Yeah, if they're organizing everyone,
Yes.
communication.
They make sure things go smoothly and they bring and integrate new aspects to the Tau Empire.
To the cause.
Much the greater good. Much the way the Earthcast is like the foundation. You know, so they do tend to play into their, you know, it makes sense. Like the watercast keeps things moving, keeps things smooth and fluid. The
Mm-hmm.
earthcast is like the base and the constructures and everything is kind of built off that. So you know, I like that. It's kind of cool. Um, Convenient for sure. If you're, you know, it's like oh,
Can I take a
um,
guess? Are
yeah,
the firecast, the warriors and the fighters and the defensive people? Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
So,
Mm.
so the aircast, sorry, not the aircast, the watercast. Um, where did the watercast live?
In the sea.
Because the earthcast were like they built fortresses and stuff. The firecast were on the plains. The aircast were in the mountains. I guess the watercast was on the coast.
They were in the
I'm not 100%
sea, probably.
sure.
Maybe they lived on boats. That's the
Maybe.
Earthcast made.
Well, so the one of the things that I kind of noticed being a cynical and horrific person
Mm-hmm.
is it almost feels like the casts what they have become at the very least from you know they all of the tribes all of the kind of all factions before the ethereals turned up had predilections. The water cast tried to essentially like get by before like kind of essentially they would produce things, they would trade things that no one else had, so that it's not worth really attacking them because you're getting this useful thing from them, kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know that type of thing.
Okay.
Um, but that doesn't mean they didn't fight, and it doesn't mean that they weren't.
Drawn in
It's just
sometimes.
I find it interesting how all of the casts almost seem engineered at this point to specifically fill a role in the Empire.
Almost as though a company made them.
Yeah,
Almost as though a small ruling elite trying to control everyone for their
maybe.
evil deeds under the guise of being good.
I mean, it's possible.
Probable.
Um, so yeah, that's the water cost. There, I would say if you had an upper class, as it were, it could be them. The water like aside from the ethereals, obviously,
Yeah, obviously.
just purely because they like one of the problems the watercast has is that the ethereals obviously have like this magnetism and maybe supernatural ability to make people like work together and all that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like then you basically get the watercast is like, hey, these people this other type of Tau turned up who are us but better. So that's
New issues. Now we get to feel inferior.
yeah. And
Yay.
they've benefited from the ethereals, the same as all of the casts have. But there's that thing in the back of your head where you're like, you know, how willingly have they benefited from these things? Which I think is the thing that saves the Tau for me. Like the Tau is my least favorite faction and race in 40k.
Because they're nice,
Well,
collaborative.
it's more because they just never seem that interesting at first glance.
Mm.
I never really cared for mecha anime. They're strange blue creatures,
Yep, they are.
and the basic view of them is, oh look, for the greater good, hugs and kisses, yeah yeah yeah, and it's just like, yeah, that's not super interesting when you have things like the orcs.
Yeah.
But when you add in the idea of this like slightly malevolent, we're going to rule the entire galaxy for your own good to achieve peace, and then you get into questions like, is it worth being like having your free will possibly taken away for peace? You know, is artificial happiness actually happiness, and all that type of thing.
Grim
So
Dawn.
it makes them more interesting to me.
Yeah.
The greater
The
good.
greater good.
Shut it. Um.
Ouch.
So we have the Earthcast and the Aircast and the Firecast left.
Okay.
Should we leave the Firecast to last because you
There's a
you
teaser.
have a
Yes.
suspicion about them?
Yes.
Okay. So the Aircast.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, these I've got the magnifying glasses on. Should I stab myself in the face because I have no perception of where things are?
Dear. The Aircast are essentially pilots, I guess.
Drivers.
They like to fly and they like being off planet. So you'll probably, you might, but you probably won't see any Aircast Tau on a planet for the most part.
Okay. I suppose that's all right.
So like obviously they're taller, gangly, low gravity living most of the time means that they're kind of like a bit weaker physically. Um but they're used to zero gravity, so that has its benefits too. Um Apparently before the ethereals turned up, they actually may have had well, they do have like kind of wings, but they're vestigial now. They don't, it's like an appendix. But way back when, they used to possibly like glide around in the mountains.
Oh, and they took it away from them.
Well, now they got spaceships and
Well,
stuff. So
that's not the same. It's not
yeah,
the same.
um, they're they're probably the least known casts, just to like the Imperium or whatever, because the only time they'd encounter them would be in like air battles and stuff.
Yes. Okay.
And generally, you don't say, "Hey, how are you doing?" You just blow the other ship out the sky, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're not going to be taking them prisoner. You never see them. That's
Yeah.
fine.
They also tend to be, they fly ships in between planets and things like that, so they don't often like go out of the Empire too much, so they're not seen as much there either. They're a lot better pilots than regular, than humans, because they're essentially built for the role.
Yeah,
Like
they're
he says in
mega
inverted
specialized.
commas. The only problem is that they don't fight as much as the Imperials do. So, in terms of experience, the Imperial fighter pilots are better
Yeah.
with experience, but probably not better as in like built for
Yeah, flying here and there is fine, but if you need to do evasion and combat, I get you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
They're really like they almost look, the alien greys in South Park?
No.
Oh. You know the traditional like gray alien trope with like the
Yeah,
big
like
black eyes and um they have like really like thin spindly limbs and
yes.
the aircast look a little bit like them except for the eyes. They don't look like that on the eyes though.
What colour eyes do they have, Sheepy?
Oh, let's have a look here. Oh well, the picture isn't loading. Oh, there we go. Looks kind of like very very thin, like beady black eyes. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. Um. Oh, whoopsie doodle. There we go.
Whoopsie daisy.
So they kind of pilot the bombers and the fighters and all that type of thing. The thing is that the Tau has been pushing out not unopposed,
But not
but
very opposed. Okay.
yeah, it's not super opposed. And I think one of the problem the Tau's had is either they get fucking destroyed or they generally tend to do fine. So
I'm still laughing like that's a problem.
yeah, it does mean that they don't have generally they have a plan, right?
Mhm.
So they'll before they go into battle, they have like beautiful maneuvers and like um what are they called? Like feints and distractions and ambushes and all of these type of things.
And then they
Very
get into.
often,
Sorry, go on.
oh, I was just gonna say, very often, one of the first things they do is gain complete air superiority,
Okay.
if possible.
Oh, sure.
So, for the aircast and the fighter pilots of the Tau, they essentially like throw a shit ton of fighters and bombers into the air and very quickly just sweep everything away or get destroyed, kind of thing, you know?
Oh.
It means that like they either do it very quickly or they get kind of repelled.
Yeah.
So you don't have that kind of extended back and forth of trying to maintain air superiority, which means the pilots don't get a super load of experience because they're either like steamrolling someone or getting slaughtered.
Yeah. They need to practice. They need to have some more home wars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Um
This is
Also the like
crazy.
as well, the approach is very sacrificial. Like so
Mm.
in the Imperium, um they sacrifice regularly. But the Imperium could kind of do that. There are so many humans all over the place. They can, if needed, choose to just throw bodies at a problem.
Yeah, they are the scourge of the universe.
The Tau haven't had a whole load of time to expand and essentially breed like rabbits all over the galaxy. So there's a lot less Tau, and it's probably part of the reason they need to bring other alien species into the fold because they need, if they're going to expand their empire, they need bodies. And have like accepting casualties and sacrifices for the greater good in battle doesn't really help.
Yeah. Needs to offset.
So,
So.
yeah, that's the that's the air cost. Essentially just pilots, really. Yeah,
You used to be able to fly.
used to be able to
Whoa.
fly.
Sorry, things just started falling over.
Oh,
No.
it does help that their technology is really quite good.
It is.
So, then we have the fire cast,
Yeah.
who are the military cast.
Wow, I could never have guessed that.
Uh, they're quite broad and tall, and very often you won't see uh them, as it were. They'll be in battle suits,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
armored up. They're definitely probably. I wouldn't necessarily just say the strongest, but because you got the Earth cast who are also quite
Yeah,
strong.
but they don't
I,
fight, do they? So.
yeah, I'd say definitely more deadly. Maybe as strong as, definitely muscular
Yeah.
and pow 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 pow. Um,
For all that melee fighting they do.
yeah, they are essentially trained from birth, pretty much. And the Firecast kind of concentrate on raising soldiers.
Yeah.
Very often, squads and teams and or, all these type of thing are raised together. So it's like, the toddlers like wandering around as like squad, you know, squad mega death kill and being trained together and all that type of thing. Um, Interestingly, there has been not a good one, but there has been a game made about the Firecast and the Tau.
Oh, really? What's it
It was called
called?
Fire Warrior.
Oh,
Wasn't very good.
well, there are a few Warhammer games.
There are, and most of them are not very good, but I've played them anyway.
Yeah, you've played a lot of them.
So yeah, I mean the majority of ground battles that you'll have will be against the Firecast.
Right.
Um, Most of the time they'll be running around. Uh, I think they, yeah. Like this is the point where we're getting outside of my realm of comfort on things I vaguely know about the Tau. Um, they have a few different like tactics and styles based on their ancient hunting techniques.
Ooh. What would
So
they hunt?
well, the Firecast were originally like hunters. Or, that's why they were running around on the plains attacking everyone.
Yeah.
They're- Um, they have two like basic styles of combat. One is like luring your enemy to you,
Yep.
and the other is like running them down.
Okay. Valid tactics.
So uh the running the sorry the is it bringing them to you? No, the running them down is called Montka, I guess. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, so don't ask.
We're just making it up as we go along. It's all good.
Yeah. It's all about during combat identifying what needs to be taken out and basically striking it.
Right.
Basically, a mobile force as quickly as possible going like, there's the commander hit, or there's a set of artillery pieces, let's fly in and blow it up and then jump out. Like, whatever it is that needs to be taken out to give an advantage, essentially.
Yeah, very like quick combat by the sounds of it. Then like the flight stuff and going straight for the major thing.
Yeah, they also have very long-ranged weapons, so they can quite confidently prioritize targeting.
Yeah.
They're like, you've seen like dreadnoughts and Lehman Russes and all those like Imperial war gear, let's call it.
Yeah.
It's quite lumbersome. The Imperium isn't about speed, really. I imagine. I wonder, because I don't know this, but I wonder if the Tau have fought the White Scars very often. Because the White Scars are all about speed and hacking people to pieces.
They would not benefit from that.
I don't think the Tau would like fighting the White Scars.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I don't think I'd like to fight them either, to be honest.
No, the White Scars basically started as like Mongolian, yeah, kind of Genghis Khan style riders on their homeworld. And then when they were recruited into the White Scars, the Space Marines, they swapped out their horses for jet bikes.
Let's go. So is that color scheme white by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've got a very like, imagine if Genghis Khan and all his hordes suddenly got teleported to like the current year and got introduced to motorbikes.
Maybe that's what they did, recruit him.
So I'm quite a fan of the White Scars. I really like Jagatai Khan, who's the Primark, and
Genghis Khan.
No, Jagatai Khan is the. Hey, look, there's a Primark who's angry and in charge of the Angry Boys, and he's called Angron. Like they're not the most inventive with the naming system.
Yeah, poor Angron.
The Tau is basically just Avatar by another name.
I'm just thinking, I went off into Shakespeare then, but I rose by any other name.
An angry boy by any other name. It's called Angron.
Poor baby.
I was trying to think of if there was a Primark's name that began with R, so I could do the Romeo. I don't think there is. Anyway,
shall we return to what we're doing?
Essentially, either the Tau are going to, like, realize or see a weakness in the enemy lines and something that they can kind of maneuver and overwhelm with like overwhelming kind of spearhead force, or they're going to portray weaknesses in their own side to encourage attacks and then isolate and destroy those attacks because they're prepared for it.
Yeah.
And like in general, Reboot, wherefore art thou, my Reboot? There we go.
I don't know him.
Reboot Gilliman. He's the Primark of the Ultramarines.
Can't believe you forgot the Ultramarines guy name.
Well, the thing. Okay, so in my defense, and this isn't my fault. This is England's fault. Every time I see the name Reboot Gilliman, like there are so many memes about his name but the one I always think of is Sabutio.
I don't know that one.
So Sabutio is a really old football miniature game where they're on like rounded bases and you like flick them to kick the ball.
Yeah, I do know that game.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what it's called? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's called Sabutio.
I would never have
And
known that.
I see Rabute and I my brain goes, Sabutio. And I'm like, man, Sabutio. Yeah, so. This whole thing, I don't think Rabute Gilliman, I think Sabutio Gilliman. It's if anyone here's an artist, in the YouTube video or in Twitch chat, and you want to do a quick little like artist rendering of Rabute Gilliman as a Sabutio figure, I will not say no to that. Because that sounds funny as hell.
I hate this drone so much. I'm so upset.
Do you want to take a moment to pause?
Stupid drone. I hate it. I'm not pausing. I'm just gonna be angry. Just want you to
Okay.
know. I wanted you to know.
All right, cool.
I'm really.
I've completely lost track of time, so I'm not sure how we're doing on time.
We got a good while left.
Okay.
This one. I hate this stupid drone. Put it in the bin. Never doing drones again.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Drones
fine.
will be cool. Why do I do a drone? It's got a really cool looking gun. Stupid gun.
I didn't say that.
No, that was me to me.
Oh, okay.
It moves and everything. That's awesome. Fucking drone.
So.
Fucking gravity.
Is this the most angry you've been with a mini?
I'm aggrieved.
Yep. Yep.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Everything's got to be fine.
I will say that yellow paint and white paint are stupid.
Right.
And I hate them.
So the fire.
It's probably for the best. Just move on, yeah.
Probably the two best known Tau like individuals is Chasso Viola Shova Kais Montir. Oh, Shova.
Shova?
Who is much better known as Commander Farsight.
Oh, I know of them.
And also Oshacera, who is Commander Shadowsun.
I don't know of them.
I believe Commander Shadowsun was involved in the third expansion of the Tau Empire. There's been 5 expansions of the Tau Empire.
You said earlier there was 3.
I thought there was 3.
You're a liar.
I don't know the Tau that well, and God damn it. I think we'll probably save Commander Foresight for later.
Okay.
And this may like interest you a little bit, just purely because Commander Foresight is a renegade.
I don't know what that means.
So he is one of the only, not one of the only, he's the leader of a independence rebellion type thing against the Tau Empire.
What? You did say earlier, mostly loyal.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, Farsight, because of all of the little bits of like worrying things that we've been hearing about the Tau, all those things where you're like, maybe the Tau aren't actually the good guys.
Yeah.
It's very possible that the only faction maybe the only good guy in existence in 40k might be Foresight.
Well,
Possibly.
I think that he doesn't tip waiters enough. Not a good guy
Right.
now.
How's that, Mister All Cool and nice? Don't tip your waitresses. What a dick.
What a dick. There can be no good people in Warhammer. It's the rules.
It's very true. But yeah, essentially there is a faction of the Tau who are, you know, he's called like the traitor,
Fuck duck.
the
Sorry.
what
I
did
just-
ducks do to you?
I just really aggressively dropped my drone.
I'd say heresy, but we're talking about the Tau.
That
So.
scared me. Supposed to be able to fly, and they just didn't do that. Kind of hurt too. Oh. It's alright. It didn't break, which I'm pretty astounded by.
So, what we're on to next will be the I think we'll talk about the expansions a little bit, and we'll also talk about the Kroot and other Xenos races.
Yeah, the crew are the little tree people, right?
Not really, but
Wait, who am I
close enough.
thinking of?
I don't know. The Kroot are the chicken people.
Chicken.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. Why don't we, even though I know it's a bit early, why don't we take a quick break
Yes.
and we can talk about the next section?
Alrighty. See you in the next video, guys.
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Boo!